Hello, Algebra 2. This is Wednesday, September 30th. Today we're going to do some classwork practice. And again, if you're having any difficulty with last week's or this week's assignments, notes, or the lecture recordings, please email us for help or ask in the chat. So there's no new homework for today, but you do have to take out a piece of paper for some classwork. And then be prepared to go over the homework assignments from this week the next time we meet. Thank you. Okay, please take out a piece of paper and write down the following problems along with your teacher. Thank you. Please keep this paper in your math folder at home because later on I'm going to go ahead and ask you for this paper. So make sure you put it in a safe place. Okay, you ready to go? Remember, you can hit pause at any time in the recording while you get your paper. Okay, please write down that practice problem. You can hit pause. Okay, so what I want to make sure you remember is that this problem has an equal sign. So we went over that last week. And so that's solving an equation. And that was last week. This week, we've been doing lectures where those are greater than and less than symbols. So you got to know the difference. So this is solve the equation. That's when it's an equal sign. The step is to isolate the absolute value. So we're going to draw a line. We're going to move the 8 and divide by 6. So you always move the number first with add or subtract. So since this is add 8, we subtract 8, the opposite. And we bring everything else down. 38 minus 8 is 30. This next step is there's a hidden multiply dot there, so we're going to have to divide on both sides. So we're going to divide out the 6, and that's how we isolate, or we got these absolute value bars all alone, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. Okay, so we did step 1. Oh, sorry about that. We did step 1. So now we're going to do the next step, which is to write two equations, one with a positive, one with a negative. So p plus 6 does not change. The 5 stays positive. P plus 6 does not change. The 5 changes to a negative 5. So one positive, one negative. Only on the right side where the 5 was at. Now you're going to solve and get two different answers. So subtract 6, subtract 6. This p would be equal to 5 minus 6 is negative 1. The same thing here, subtract 6, subtract 6. This p would be equal to a negative 5, and negative 6 more makes negative 11. So there's our two answers. And remember, we're solving equations. That's when it has equal signs. You can hit pause if you need to write some more of this down. Come back to the video. Okay, so here's the next one. This is different because we're going to solve the inequality. This time we have a less than or equal to symbol. And so there's an extra step when we solve absolute values that have those symbols. The extra step is down here. Oops, hold on. This thing's in the way. There we go. The extra step's down here. It's for, at the end, we have to graph our answer. The and type or the or type, okay? So a little quick review. And graphs always meet together. So the and graphs are like this, or it could be open dots. The or types always go apart from each other. They could also have the open dot too. So it depends on the symbol, right? We went over that. Okay. So the first step is the same, to isolate the absolute value. So we have to move over the 3. So the opposite of add 3 is subtract 3. So less than or equal to 14 minus 3 is 11. the next step is to write two equations. So we're going to write two equations, one with a positive, so p plus 9 less than or equal to 11, positive 11. The other one with a flipped symbol and the negative. So p plus 9, now you're going to flip the symbol to point the other way and change it to negative 11. So I'm just reviewing to make sure you're caught up. So the original symbol was pointing to the left. When we say flipped the symbol, we should have it pointing the opposite direction. And you do that on the side that has the negative 11. Okay, so we solve. That's the same. You solve and get two different answers. Subtract 9 to move the 9 over. So p would be less than or equal to 11 minus 9 is 2. So we can put that on the graph right away. So here's 0. Here's 2. Let's say it's right here. All the numbers less than or equal to would be a closed dot. Less than or equal to 2 will go that way. So let's finish up this side and see what happens. You can hit pause if you need to. Okay, so let's finish this side. We subtract 9 to move it over. So p would be greater than or equal to negative 11 minus 9 more would be negative 20. So if we put a negative 20 on our graph, all the numbers greater than or equal to negative 20 would be a closed dot. Which way is greater? It's going this way, and so they meet together. So this is an and answer. So you put the word and in between your two numbers in your final answer. So you have a final answer and you also have a graph. Since the graph meets together, then that's why we put the word and. The next example will be for the or type. So we just did the and type. Now the next one will be for the or type. You can hit pause if you need a minute. Okay, so same thing. This time we're going to just do the same thing, isolate the absolute value. So remember there's a hidden multiply dot, so we're going to divide both sides by 6. We've isolated the absolute value. 36 divided by 6 is 6. The next step is to write two equations, once with a positive. Oh, that's, sorry, my pen kind of slipped. All right, and once with a flipped symbol. So instead of pointing to the right, we're going to point it to the left and change to negative 6. So flip symbol goes with the negative. And then you just solve and get two different answers. So we would move the 4 over, so subtract 4. So 5m is greater than or equal to 6 minus 4 is 2. And don't worry, this is just going to be a fraction answer. You divide by 5. So all the numbers greater than or equal to 2/5. So 2/5 is a decimal less than 1. 2/5 is less than 1, right? Because 5 out of 5 would be 1 whole. So here's 0. Here's 1. 2/5 is somewhere in there. So we're just going to make a dot somewhere in between 0 and 1. So I'll just put it right here. And where all the numbers greater than or equal to 2/5, they'll go this way. Okay, well, we don't know if it's going to match up or if we're going to need an arrow, so let's solve the other one and see what happens. So we're going to move the 4 over. We're going to subtract 4. So 5m is less than or equal to, how much is negative 6 minus 4? Negative 10. Divide by 5. So all the numbers less than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to put negative 2 on here. All the numbers, small pointy part, all the numbers less than or equal to negative 2. Well, that would go this way. So we have the OR graph. So I will add the arrows, put the word OR in the middle by my final answer. And when my arrows go apart like that, then that's the OR type. Okay, I hope this helps for you to accomplish the lecture recording that you're going to have tomorrow. So I asked you to save this paper in your math folder because I will be calling upon you to have this paper. So please save it in a safe place, you guys. Have a great day.